Hi everyone and welcome back to LL Sports TV. Now today we're going to switch it up a bit. Today we're going to talk some MMA. Today I'm going to be asking a question that a lot of MMA fans are asking, and they've been debating this ever since last week when Jon Jones defended his UFC heavyweight title with a win over Stipe Miocic. I nearly got that wrong. Right, so he retained his title and immediately the talk was who he would fight next, and the question has been put to him, will he fight Tom Aspinall, the absolute human wrecking ball from England who's been knocking out everybody? But it would appear that Jon Jones wants to go down a different route. He's talking about fighting Alex Pereira. Now, I've got with me to discuss this my good friend Callum from Coppish TV and the Sanderson Show. He's a big MMA man as well as boxing, but he knows his MMA inside out. Now, listen, I'm going to put the question to you. Is Jon Jones ducking Tom Aspinall?
Yes.
There you have it.
For lack of a better phrase, he is ducking him. Some of the things he says is valid, though. Obviously, he's been in the sport a long time. Tom Aspinall's the new young lion, the hungry lion who's trying to dethrone him. So obviously, he doesn't want to tarnish his legacy by losing this fight. And obviously, Pereira, for him, probably is a bigger fight box office-wise because Pereira's a better-known fighter. However, it is ducking because he's still holding on to the belt. If he said, look, I'm relinquishing the belt after he beat Stipe, I just want fun fights now, I don't really want to chase belts and chase title fights and all that, I just want fun fights for myself, I don't think anyone would have had an issue. It's the fact that he's still holding the belt and the fact that he keeps on saying he's not going to give Tom Aspinall a chance when he's interim champion. He doesn't get that choice. He has to fight him or he's got to relinquish.
Yeah, I agree with a lot of what you say there. It's interesting, that whole topic about Jon Jones, who a lot of people, I don't know if you would say he's the GOAT of MMA, mixed martial arts.
So it's a tricky one because maybe I sit a little bit in the minority here, but because of the infractions he's had in his career and some of the failed drug tests, I don't have him as my GOAT. If everything's just ignored, then he is the GOAT. His resume, his fighting style, his IQ, everything in combination, no one touches him. But with those complications on his record, then I can't do it. So for me, Demetrius Johnson's my GOAT, or GSP would be my other person who I'd argue. But for me, the most talented fighter I've ever seen in my life, whether it be boxing, MMA, anything, is Jon Bones Jones.
Yeah, I would say I agree that. I mean, I'm fairly new to the sport. Obviously, my main sport is boxing. But I have been watching MMA over the years. I've watched it grow. And certainly Jon Jones is one of the fighters that you tend to look out for. I mean, he's 37 now, no?
37, but he's been doing it since. So he became champion at the age of 23. So he's the youngest UFC champion of all time. And when you actually put it into context, it's crazy because I think he'd only been doing MMA for about 2 or 3 years before he won the UFC championship. And he won it off a legend as well. He didn't just win it off a random, and he beat the guy down bad. And his resume is crazy from just legend after legend after legend. And people, he almost went through 3 generations of fighters. He went through the generation that sort of came before him, his generation where he's in his prime along with other fighters, and then the generation that came up behind him, and he beat everyone. So he's a special fighter.
Yep, I mean, I must admit, even myself is, like I said, layman in terms of, MMA and UFC. Watching his fights, what struck me straight away is his skill level seems to be on a different type of level to the other guys. And his all-round game. I mean, some of the guys, they're very good at a particular genre. Like, there might be a good striker, there might be a good wrestler, or they might be good with their feet. But he seems to have all the necessary requisite skills. I mean, what is he now, 37 years old? He's been fighting now for what, 16 years? 16 years. His youngest ever UFC champion, 2-weight world champion. I think he's had 30 fights, no real losses to speak of. Just one disqualification and one no contest. So the record is almost crazy. Immaculate. So you say he's ducking, but the other end of the equation, some people would say, and I've seen this in boxing, by the way, people will say, has he earned the right to walk off into the sunset with his next fight against Alex Pereira, who's not really a heavyweight, but he calls it a legacy fight. What do you say to that?
He's definitely earned the right. It's the whole thing of him having the belt. If he didn't have the belt, I don't think anyone would have an issue with the situation. It's the fact that he has the belt and he's saying he's not relinquished the belt yet. If he didn't have the belt, and he decides to either retire or fight someone else or anyone else, no one would have an issue. It's the fact he has the belt And we always say so-and-so is an undisputed champion. Well, he's the only UFC champion right now who's disputed, because you look at his last 2 wins, there were Stipe Miocic and Cyril Gane. Cyril Gane got beaten by Francis Ngannou before Ngannou left, and Stipe got beaten by Francis Ngannou before Ngannou left as well.
Crushed him.
So technically, Francis Ngannou is a lineal champion. Then you've got Tom Aspinall, who has beaten, I think, 6 out of the current top 10.
Yeah. 5 first-round knockouts.
5 first-round knockouts. And then you've got Jones. So technically, Jones's title is the 3rd best title out of the 3, because Aspinall's been beating a higher level of competition on a regular basis, and Ngannou was a lineal champion, and then Jones has now got the quote-unquote world undisputed champion. So it's a very disputed championship, and it's hotly debated. So he can put that to bed by fighting Aspinall and beating him, or relinquishing the belt. But he seems to not want to do either.
He seems to want to have his cake and eat it. He wants to have the belt and choose who his next opponent will be. Who, let's be honest, Pereira. Seen a bit of Pereira, very good fighter, but number one is not a heavyweight.
Yeah.
Jon Jones will argue that he's not really a heavyweight either. He's kind of grown into the weights because he's formerly a light heavyweight. But you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it's interesting now. I'm going to pick you up on this because I've got quite a few friends that are MMA fans, right? And they're always having a go at boxing. And they're always saying that the trouble with boxing is the best don't fight the best. That's what they're always saying to you, you know? Best don't fight the best. UFC and Dana White have shown that it's all about the best fighting the best. In boxing, they avoid, but in UFC, they fight the number one contender, and that's it. No questions asked. And here we are debating whether the GOAT of, you know, okay, you don't think he's a GOAT,
but he's definitely in the convo.
Yeah, definitely in the conversation. Your main man appears to be ducking Tom Aspinall, man. So it just goes to show that these things happen. I mean, we've seen it in boxing. Recent examples, Floyd Mayweather, as they get to the end of their career, they tend to want to navigate the way out of the sport the best way they can. And we're seeing it with Canelo now, clearly ducking some of the best fighters because he wants to go down his path. He wants to secure his legacy. So some people say there's nothing too much wrong with that. But I do agree with you. I think if you're going to go down the legacy route and you're going to navigate your way out of the sport, having put in so many hard yards, I guess you are entitled to it, but give up the belts. Let the young guys come in and do their thing.
If I'm not mistaken, Calzaghe did that, right? He gave up his belts and then fought Roy Jones and Bernard.
That's correct.
So he did it the right way, because from what I can remember, Froch wanted to fight Calzaghe. And he was just like, put the belts up, let's have it. Calzaghe was like, you're the young lion, I'm not going to do this. Look, there's the belts, everyone can go fight over it. Then they had a Super Six because of that, if I'm not mistaken. And then he went and fought Roy Jones and Bernard, and no one said anything about it because he didn't hold the belts hostage. He said, look, these are my 2 cash-out fights, these are my dream fights, I'm going to go do it. If John did that, I don't think anyone would have an issue.
Yeah, that is an excellent point, because Joe Calzaghe is one of my favourite fighters.
Brilliant fighter.
To me, it's out of him and Lennox who would have been the 2 best British fighters, certainly of the modern era.
Yeah.
But you will never hear, well, very few people will say that Calzaghe ducked anyone. His legacy is secured, and I think a lot of it is to do with what you just said. The fact that he gave up the belts, decided to pursue the Roy Jones fight and the Bernard Hopkins fight and things like that, and then he just left the sport. Yeah,
because even I look at how the model of UFC has been built. It has been built on, as you said, the best fight the best. However, recently I think that's started to change. So O'Malley, for example, fought Chito Vera, and Chito Vera was ranked number 6 when the fight was made, and then suddenly got boosted up to number 5 when the fight happened. But he wasn't deserving of a title shot. Stipe Miocic wasn't deserving of a title shot
wasn't
against
he
Jones.
Like a full-time firefighter?
Full-time firefighter. Hadn't fought in 3.5 years.
Yeah.
So,
and even then, he got crushed by Ngannou.
Got battered by Ngannou. So it's like, it feels as though UFC is kind of going down that route, and I just hope Dana steers it back the other way. Otherwise, boxing with what Turkey's doing in Saudi and in the Middle East, they'll clean up again.
Yeah, well, I think we're cleaning up anyway.
Yeah, you are. You know,
but you know, on that, we're gonna just to give you a heads up, we're gonna be doing a video in the next week or so. Boxing versus MMA stroke UFC, which is the best combat sport, and I think that'd be quite interesting because we've both got our points to make, legitimate points. But I'm looking forward to that video. But watch out for that. That's coming soon. But tell the people, the uninitiated, the people who don't know too much, why Tom Aspinall is such a dangerous fighter for Jon Jones to face.
So throughout Jon Jones' career, he's been blessed with athletic gifts. So he's 6'4", and he's got a wingspan or reach of 84 inches. So no one's come close to him out of all the people he's fought, apart from Alexander Gustafsson, who gave him his hardest fight the first time round, figured him out the second time, and then battered him the second time. Tom Aspinall is bigger than him. He's physically stronger than him. He's younger than him by quite a distance, which Jones hasn't really had to deal with.
31.
Yeah, 31. Plus, he's got fantastic ground game. So Tom Aspinall's first martial art discipline was jiu-jitsu, because his dad is a jiu-jitsu practitioner.
Oh, wow.
Whereas a lot of people Jones has fought over recent times have been not grapplers, strikers predominantly. So he's been able to neutralise them with the grappling. Plus, taking Tom down is going to be difficult, but he's also so quick with his hands and his feet as well. So it's not just the fact he throws quick and hard punches. He's very in and out with his movement. His lateral movement is excellent. His darting in and out is excellent. And I don't think Jones has fought anyone who's got those physical gifts in a long time. And this version of Jones has slowed down a lot more than the previous version. So
I noticed
that's
that in
what
the
makes it so
Stipe
intriguing.
fight, because to me, I think he could have got the jump done quicker. I mean, obviously the highlight reel is the
it looks brilliant.
Yeah, the spinning kick to the body that just took him out.
Yeah.
But prior to that,
even that spinning kick, it just goes testament to the technique, because that's how much margin of error there was for that spinning kick. Yeah. Stipe's defense was fine. The knee was up, the elbow was tucked, and he still
found it.
Like, it's amazing technique.
Precision striking.
It's amazing technique.
Yeah. But with Aspinall, you're right. I mean, first thing you notice about the guy, very nimble on his feet for a big man. I think, like you said, 6'5".
6'5".
Excellent movement.
Yeah.
Very powerful. It looks a real wrecking ball, man. And if he lands the way I've seen him landing recently, I could see him taking Jon Jones out. And, you know, that's no mean feat, because Jon Jones, as we, quite rightly said, he's a legend. I mean, Tom Aspinall, what's his record? 15-3.
Yeah,
12 by KO.
Yeah,
5 first rounds.
So literally, and this is another thing that people have been speaking about, Jon Jones is a master of watching people fight and then getting their footage together and then finding a way to beat them from their fight footage. There's no fight footage in Aspinall, because he's getting everyone out so quickly. Even the one he lost in the UFC,
Curtis Blades.
That's when he threw the leg kick and his knee basically did his knee ligaments. That was within 15 seconds. So even in that fight, you couldn't gauge anything from it. Every other fight has been first round. He's been out the first round, I think maybe twice, and finished both of those as well.
I think all his fights have ended within 7 minutes.
It's
and one round in, by the way, what you guys is 5 minutes.
It's crazy.
But I saw the rematch with him and Curtis Blades.
He made it look easy. And Blades is excellent.
Smashed into bits.
Blades is excellent.
Yeah.
And it's like, I think people are sleeping on the fact of he's beating these guys and making them look bad, but they're not bad.
I know.
Like Blades for me would be a very tough fight for Jon Jones. I think Jones would ultimately get it done.
Yeah.
But because of Blades' style of fighting, I think that would be a difficult fight for Jon as well. And Blades is really tall and long as well.
That's
so
right. You know which one I'd love to see as well? I mean, it's going to be difficult if it could get made now, because Ngannou has gone to another. Is it PFL he's gone to?
Yeah, PFL.
Yeah, so you imagine him versus Aspinall.
That would be, for me, that if the UFC had Ngannou still, that trifecta of Jones, Aspinall and Ngannou would make the whole UFC just a whole nother level at the moment. Because Ngannou's a massive star, especially after the boxing fights. But his fight style as well, he's changed up how he used to be. He used to just go headhunting for finishes. Now he'll take people down, and but we might not see it. We might not see it.
Yeah, you never know. You might see it, man. I mean, money talks. Maybe they could do. The only thing is Dana, he tends to be quite focused on his own thing. And why, you could argue, why would he not be?
Well, it makes sense, because if he sends his guy to go out and fight Ngannou and his guy loses,
that's right.
That delegitimizes the whole division for him.
Yeah. And I think Tom Aspinall, hasn't he? I think he's had one professional fight as a boxer.
Yeah. So he trained with Fury on the way up.
That's right.
Because he was going to go into boxing and then chose to divert to MMA. So
a wise decision.
Got great hands.
A wise decision.
Yeah.
So yeah, man. I mean, just to wrap up, I mean, I do agree with you. I do think Jon Jones is probably, what term can I use? Discretion is sometimes a better part of valor.
Yeah.
And especially if you're 37 years old and you've achieved all what you've achieved, and you think you got the option between Pereira and Aspinall, then why wouldn't you
of course.
take Pereira? Because Pereira is a very, very good fighter. He's a current light heavyweight champion, isn't he?
Yeah, he's a beast.
So it's not like Jon Jones is fighting a scrub. He's fighting a legitimate guy.
Yeah.
So, but he has said, though, that if they make him a ridiculous offer. So do you think that will happen, though?
No.
Because Dana's not given to
I don't
paying
think
over the
would.
top, is he?
But the only reason this is different is because Dana knows if he doesn't make this fight, then he'll always be questioned on it, because you have the Ngannou situation, now you've got the Aspinall situation. So if this doesn't get made now, it leaves a massive stain on his legacy, but the UFC's as well.
And my final question today, if the fight did take place between Jon Jones, the GOAT, and Tom Aspinall, the human wrecking ball, how do you think it would go? Who's going to win and why?
I think Aspinall wins, but I wouldn't be surprised if Jones won either, because his fight IQ is so high. But I just think Aspinall's physical gifts and just the fact that he's in his prime right now and the speed kills, I think he'd get to Jones. And it's weird because I've seen Jones kind of staggered once and he bounced straight back up. I can't even picture Jones being knocked out because I've never even seen him hurt like that before. So it'd be weird, but if anyone could do it, it's Tom Aspinall.
I think that's the perfect way in which to end.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, man.
Pleasure, thank you.
Like I said, people, we got that video coming soon, Boxing versus MMA, which is the premier combat sport. But just to finish off by saying thank you very much, guys, for watching today. Really appreciate it. If you're new to the channel, please like, share and subscribe. We're out. Catch you on the next one. See you soon. Take care.